Ukraine war, Putin risked a coup by FSB Security Services Russia-Tombol headquarters of the FSB, successor to the KGB, in Moscow. FSB agents are known as Russia's new nobility. The risk of a coup by the Federal Security Service, FSB, against President Putin is increasing every week as the war in Ukraine continues. A whistleblower central to Russian intelligence said. The whistleblower told Vladimir Osechkin, who is on Russia's most wanted list for his work exposing abuse in prisons, in letters that chaos and discontent engulfed the security services after the failed invasion of Ukraine. Osechkin published nearly a dozen letters. He told the Times that the risk intelligence agents took in speaking out was a sign of their growing anger towards Putin, who is believed to have blamed them for the failure. In an attempt to overthrow the Russian government in Kyiv. Osechkin said that much of this unhappiness comes from the effect of sanctions on FSB officers, who are often referred to as the new nobility in Russia, and who will no longer be able to vacation in their villa in Italy and take their kids to Disneyland Paris. Employees of the FSB, Russia's domestic spy agency that Putin directed from 1998 to 1999, are well paid. Much more than ordinary citizens, in an apartment they are allocated by the state. Speaking in his native France, where he has lived in exile since 2015, Osechkin, 40, said, "For 20 years, Putin created stability in Russia. FSB officers, police officers, state prosecutors, people inside the system, were able to live well. But now it's all gone. They realize that this war is a disaster for the economy, for humanity. They don't want to go back to the Soviet Union." He said they were ready to challenge the system if necessary. He added, "Every week and every day month that life if this trend continues, the possibility of an uprising among those in the security services increases." Osechkin, founder of the human rights group Gulag.net, revealed that the whistleblower is in charge of a small analysis department in the FSB. He communicates with Osechkin via email using a message listener handle. The insider first contacted Osechkin in October 2021, after Gulag.net released a video showing it. Inmates at a prison in Saratov, southwestern Russia, were tortured at the hands of FSB officers. The couple remained in touch. On February 19, 2022, 2 days before the invasion, insiders alerted Osechkin that FSB officers were seeking to destabilize Ukrainian prisons by encouraging prisoners to riot. On February 4 and March, the whistleblower wrote a 2,000-word email in which he described the war as a total defeat that can only be compared with the fall of Nazi Germany. This is the first letter. First published by Osechkin, and it has been read by more than 28 million people. The text is considered authentic by a number of experts in Russia's security services, including Christo Grozev, who reported the identities of the attackers. Poisoning in Salisbury with investigative website Bellingcat in 2018, and Andrei Soldatov, co-founder and editor of Agentura, an investigative website that has tracked the FSB for more than 20 years. Most recent letter, dated 11, published this week, warned that the Kremlin was plotting a major terrorist attack on the Ukrainian city of Kherson by kidnapping people and get them across the Russian border. Osechkin says the insider is taking huge risks in sending each letter, and Gulag.net is drawing up an evacuation plan for him. On March 11, 2 senior FSB directors were placed under house arrest and the homes of 20 other people were searched. The whistleblower was unaffected and salutes everyone, Osechkin said. U.S. defense officials say Putin's military has no leader. George Grill's Pentagon sources have blamed the absence of a senior commander for the Russian military's out-of-sync advances, leaving vehicles stranded. U.S. defense officials say President Putin's invasion is stalling because there is no overall command of Russian forces on the ground. U.S. defense officials say no. The United States and its allies were surprised by the slow pace of the invasion, with fierce Ukrainian resistance and logistical problems slowing Russia's advance. Nearly a month after the invasion, Russian forces failed to capture Ukraine's three largest cities of Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa. Pentagon sources have blamed the absence of a senior commander on the ground is the cause of the asynchronous advances of the Russian army, with separate units forced to compete with each other for scarce resources. Two U.S. defense sources told CNN that the lack of overall direction has resulted in Russian forces being unable to communicate, banded together after invasions from different parts of the country. Russian forces in Crimea have tried to align themselves with the army in the breakaway regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, but have failed to capture the key city. Weak Mariupol in an attempt to create a land corridor along the Sea of Azov. Meanwhile, the two-pronged assault on Kyiv from Belarus to the north and Russia to the northeast has yet to succeed in cutting off the capital. Yesterday, Ukrainian forces declared victory in the battle to retake Makariv, a strategic town west of Kyiv, increasing pressure on Russia's supply lines. Last week, Roman Gavrilov, a senior security service official, was abruptly fired for a sign that Putin was frustrated with the military's performance. Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, a former U.S. military commander in Europe, said that it is unclear whether Putin will appoint a top commander on the ground, but if so, that general is certainly useless. He told CNN, "One of the principles of war is unified command. That means someone has overall responsibility, coordinating fire, directing logistics, assigning reserves, measuring the success and failure of the different wings of the operation and adjust actions based on that." Ukrainian forces claimed they had killed 5 Russian generals, the most recent of which was Andrei Mordvyshev, who suffered the highest casualties of the war. Mordvyshev died in an airstrike into a command post in Kherson, in the south of the country. Estimates vary on the number of Russian troops killed, with Ukrainian forces claiming more than 14,000 Russian deaths, but the Kremlin insists there were less than 500 casualties.